security agencies are putting heads together. We're on the same page to fish out the real culprit.
Killing of soldiers, more condemnation as Delta State Governor visits President Tinubu.
Outside boosting the nation's energy supply, this venture will also accelerate the country's energy transition plan.
Federal government commits to renewable energy, signs agreement for supply of more electricity.
The theme of this year is cities feeding the future.
Plus, Almajiri to benefit from school feeding program. Good evening and welcome to the Network News. I am Olajide Bello. Joining me from Lagos is Adiola Komiakere, and Benny Adams is standing by on Business News. Remember, you can watch this broadcast live on our website, nta.ng/live, and on our other social media handles displayed on your screen. Now let's start with security matters. President Bola Tinubu has assured Nigerians of his commitment to peace while demanding that those who perpetrated the recent killing of officers and soldiers in peacekeeping mission in the state will be made to face the law. Delta State Governor Sheriff Oborewori revealed these after briefing the president over the incident, fielding questions from State House correspondents after the meeting behind closed doors. Governor Oborewori said the March 14th killing of the military was in contrast with the peace accord earlier signed by the conflicting parties.
It was very sad because Delta State is governed within the tenet of rules of law and decency. So what happened is not in line with what we are doing in Delta State, because I have promised Deltans that I'm going to be governor for all Deltans, and we have been enjoying peace. What is happening now is something that we did not bargain for, but we want to assure everybody that there will be no more attack on the villages. If there's anyone that has happened in the past, we've all agreed. All the security agencies are putting heads together. We're on the same page to fish out the real culprit, because innocent people will not suffer from it, and they have assured that no innocent person will be victimized.
Meanwhile, from the Red Chamber, Senate condemns what it describes as horrific murder of officers and soldiers in Okwama community in Delta State while on a peace mission last Thursday. The Red Chamber says those responsible must be apprehended and made to pay the heinous act. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports on these and other considerations at plenary.
May the souls of our gallant soldiers who were murdered in very horrific circumstances in cold blood in Okwama community of Delta State in the course of carrying out their civic responsibilities rest in perfect peace.
What happened in Delta was not an accident. It was a designed and well-orchestrated effort to kill our military men.
It's not every day, even in a war situation, it's not every day a country suffers this kind of loss.
The military cannot, they don't even have they don't have the power to even go and start killing innocent persons. So long as that will not be accepted, we will also not accept the situation where people will also attack and kill the military.
No stone should be left unturned in trying to find out these culprits.
Lawmakers reacting to the killing of officers and soldiers when the issue was raised by Senator Abdul Aziz Iraduwa.
The gravity of the recent attacks on military personnel, recognizing their impact on national security and peace.
Through our inquiries, if we mix with the communities and try to find out what actually went wrong, we may even assist both parties to reach amicable resolution. But nobody, no country will accept the kind of thing that we have just witnessed.
Senate calls for immediate compensation to families of the slain military personnel. Senate has approved 1.282 trillion naira as Federal Capital Administration statutory budget for 2024. Also approved is the budget of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, totaling 446 billion naira for 2024. As requested by President Bola Tinubu, Senate has confirmed the appointments of Managing Director and Executive Directors of the Asset Management Company of Nigeria, AMCON. Meanwhile, Senate has passed the bill to establish National Youth Service Corps Trust Fund, which seeks provision of sustainable source of funds for skill acquisition and empowerment of corps members, among others. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
And to the Green Chambers, the House of Representatives has called for a thorough investigation into the killings of 17 soldiers who were ambushed last week while on peace mission in Okwama community in Gili South local government area of Delta State. Lawmakers on Tuesday's plenary condemned the gruesome murder of the military officers, insisting that the perpetrators must be brought to justice. National Assembly correspondent Mitairi Ikwen reports.
Honorable Jimmy Benson.
Adopting a motion of urgent national importance by Representative Baba Jimmy Benson, lawmakers described the killings of soldiers in Delta State as an affront not only on the military but the nation at large, saying that the perpetrators must be unmasked.
Acts like this, by the very people the Nigerian armed forces are meant to protect, have the potential of demoralizing the military and affecting the war on insecurity and insurgency, which has so far recorded some huge successes.
And I appeal to our military in the face of this huge provocation to please observe some international protocol and human and stop the current burning going on in the community so that investigations can go on and the real culprits are apprehended and brought before justice.
The House received an executive bill from President Bola Tinubu seeking to provide new salaries and allowances for judicial office holders in the country.
To end the prolonged stagnation in their remuneration and to reflect contemporary socio-economic realities. The bill will also ensure significant improvement in the welfare, capacity and independence of the judiciary.
Meanwhile, a bill for an act to establish the Federal University of Solid Mineral Development, Michika, Adamawa State, scaled second reading.
Will address this critical gap by providing a dedicated platform for education, research, and innovation in the exploration and utilization of solid minerals.
Adopting other motions, the House has mandated its Committee on Treaties, Protocols and Agreements to investigate an alleged trade deal between Nigeria and the United Kingdom, which allows UK lawyers to practice in Nigeria.
While the deal seeks to foster collaboration between the film and media industries in the United Kingdom and Nigeria, it does not cater for the interests of Nigerian lawyers, as there are no such provisions or opportunities for them to practice their trade in the United Kingdom.
The sum of 1.28 trillion naira was approved and passed as the 2024 statutory budget of the FCT administration. From the National Assembly, Mitairi Ikwen, NTA News.
The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, has assured Nigerians that relevant security agencies are at work to unravel and bring to justice killers of military personnel in Okwama community in Delta State. The minister appeals for calm from those in the affected community as the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Bola Tinubu, is not overwhelmed with the security situation in parts of the country.
Any attack on armed forces is an attack on the nation itself. It's unacceptable. The President has made it that clear. Of course, this is not something that any nation will condone. But at the same time, as the Commander-in-Chief and as someone who is also very passionate about having a peaceful resolution of every situation, he has asked for calm. He has asked that the community cooperate with the armed forces so that we can fish out those who are the perpetrators of this act And he has also asked and enjoined members of the armed forces to also limit themselves to only those who are involved in this. Of course, all those involved will not go unpunished.
Saliu Gwanora reports that the minister also assured that the security agencies are working for the safe return of all kidnapped victims without the payment of ransom.
I want to assure Nigerians that the armed forces and the security agencies are working around the clock to ensure that these children are reunited once again with their family members. They are going to come back. This is a message that the president has always reiterated. It is sad, it is unfortunate, it shouldn't have happened. It has happened. The armed forces are working around the clock. And let me also reiterate the message of Mr. President. The issue of ransom is not something that the president condones. A government would not accept the payment of ransom in any way, form or shape.
Security, the minister reassured, will continue to occupy its place on the priority list of the federal government. The Nigeria Police Force Bayelsa State Command says no community in Bayelsa State will be allowed to harbor any criminal elements connected to the recent killings of military personnel in Delta State. This is the position of the Commissioner of Police Bayelsa State Command, who condemns in strong terms the recent killings of 16 personnel of the Nigerian Army on official duty in neighboring Delta State. Informer Ikoja reports.
The recent killing of soldiers on a peacekeeping mission in Okwama community of Delta State, which affected Igbo Maturu community in southern Ijaw of Bayelsa, has left the uniformed community in pains as their duties of defending and protecting the nation and its assets is not being appreciated. Reacting to the incidences that have claimed lives and property, the Commissioner of Police Bayelsa State Command condemns the act of undermining the military, who offers selfless services to the nation and citizens.
You recall before that incident, some policemen went to rescue some kidnapped victims, and they were hacked down in the same arena of movement in Delta. Rest assured that Bayelsa is enveloping out of the crisis in Delta. Being able to do that, we have the architecture, we have the framework, and we have the will. We've taken custody of the willingness of the youths, the community leaders to reach out to us.
In the meantime, the Bayelsa State Governor Donyediri has condemned the introduction of politics into the Okwama killings of soldiers on official duty, which has escalated to Igbo Maturu community in Bayelsa State, where military has extended their investigation. The governor, in a statement by his chief press secretary Daniel Alabara, says the military authorities should be allowed to conduct thorough investigation into the sordid occurrence in Okwama for perpetrators to be unraveled. In Yanagwa, Ifoma Ihoji, NTA News.
And from the judiciary, the Federal High Court Abuja Division has denied bail to leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, in the terrorism charge against him. The presiding judge, Justice Binta Nyako, declined on the ground that the earlier application he filed had been refused, ruling that the only option open to Kanu was to have gone to court of appeal to challenge the earlier refusal. The court also refused to give unfettered access to just anybody to visit Kanu in DSS custody for security reasons. Kanu had on February 26th applied for a fresh bail on the ground of adequately preparing for his defense by having unfettered access to his counsel. The federal government, however, objected to the request on the ground that Kanu once jumped bail and fled the country. And away from the judiciary, members of the Federal Executive Council were reassuring President Bola Tinubu of support and commitment to ensuring his success in leading Nigeria to greater prosperity. It was at a special iftar breaking of Ramadan fast with members of the council, service chiefs and some selected heads of agencies at the State House. Vice President Kashim Shettima spoke on behalf of his principal and acknowledged the genuine intention of President Bola Tinubu towards ensuring that Nigeria is transformed for the better. He implored members of the council and other heads of agencies to fully cooperate with the president and give their best in their respective responsibilities.
We have crossed the Rubicon, and the nation is on a path to sustain growth. Some nations have gone through worse phases in the annals of their history than us. The president means well for the nation. He has a good heart for the nation, and we have a moral imperative to support him in whatever way we can to salvage the ship of the state. Let's keep each other in prayers. Let's pray for the restoration of peace and stability in the country. Locally, the economy is turning the corner. By the grace of God, in the coming months, we shall have a bountiful harvest season, and we shall all smile once again.
About the shape of the nation, may He continually help you and all of us to steer the ship of the nation to the shore of success.
This is the second special iftar hosted by the president in this Ramadan after that of the state governors held last week. You're watching the Network News. More reports when we return. Thanks for being there. And on renewable energy, the federal government is embarking on an initiative dedicated to the development, investment and operation of renewable energy projects across the entire value chain. Vice President Kashim Shettima gave the assurance while presiding over a joint venture agreement signing for 20-megawatt Shiroro solar generating company between Nigeria Sovereign Investment Authority and North-South Power Limited. State House correspondent Abdulrahman Jubila reports.
Developing the necessary infrastructure for renewable energy generation and distribution is a significant challenge the federal government and other stakeholders are committing efforts to ensure energy security. This informed the signing of the 20-megawatt Shiroro solar generating company between Nigeria Sovereign Investment Authority and the North-South Power Limited. And the federal government is taking steps to overcome these barriers and promote sustainable renewable energy adoption in Nigeria.
The federal government of Nigeria, under the able leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, remains steadfast in supporting initiatives that drive economic growth, enhance energy security, and protect our environment. I also urge all stakeholders involved in this venture to uphold the principles of transparency, accountability, and inclusivity throughout the project's life cycle.
Nigeria's existing energy infrastructure is predominantly fossil fuel based, with limited grid connectivity to rural and remote areas.
Outside boosting the nation's energy supply, this venture will also accelerate the country's energy transition plan, which is aimed at achieving zero net emission by year 2060. In the medium term, however, it is also planned that our total energy supply will reach 30,000 megawatts by year 2030, out of which 30% of the output is targeted to come from renewable energy. This is the Vision 30-30-30.
As a demonstration of proof of concept project, this will catalyze significant orders of generation projects within the renewable space in the short future.
We will continue to blaze the trail in our own small space as best as possible to ensure that we give Nigeria the best. And the fact that NSI come on board, it shows the quality of management of North-South Power. I'm sure they did a lot of due diligence to even be ready to partner with us.
Stakeholders in the sector at the meeting said investment in the grid infrastructure and technology innovation can help address technical challenges and enhance the reliability of renewable energy sources in the country. From the State House, Abdulrahman Jibrila, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the federal government is not resting on its oars to promised to ensure it meets the power needs of Nigerians in Akwa Ibom State. Work is ongoing at the construction site of a power substation undertaken by the Ministry of Power and the Transmission Company of Nigeria at Ibom local government area. Etiono Imbaga reports that the project is expected to meet the power needs of neighboring states when completed.
Visit to this power substation project indicates that 2 power transformers and accessories are already on the ground.
And from the fund provided, we are able to procure the offshore equipment. The offshore equipment ranging from the transformer to number 30 by 40 MVA power transformer 132/3.
The project sits on 9 hectares of land with a perimeter fencing at the site at about 80% completion, with height and cutting dish of about 6 meters from the natural ground when completed.
We have completed the transformer plinth. The earthwork has been done, cutting and filling.
It's a federal government funded project, and it's well conceived. The idea is okay because the community here, they will be the beneficiary, and the industry will now spring off.
This substation, which is put at about 6 billion naira when completed, will address the power needs of Ibionibom, Ini, parts of Odupani in Cross River State, as well as Arochukwu in Abia State.
Etienne Ibanga, NTA News.
Now to election matters, Chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, has assured the political parties fielding candidates in offices and governorship elections in Edo and Ondo State to keep to the deadline for submission of candidates as the Commission would not grant request for extension of dates. This was at a meeting between the Commission and the political parties at the Commission's quarterly consultative session. Timothy Yusuf reports.
Political parties have about 20 days to upload the list and personal particulars of their candidates to the INEC portal for the Edo governorship election. INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu disclosed that so far, only 6 political parties have uploaded their nominations to the INEC portal. And ahead of the conduct of primaries for the Ondo governorship election, the INEC chairman revealed that only 16 out of 19 political parties have indicated interest in participating in the election and also expressed concern over acrimonious parties' primary election, which could lead to litigations from aggrieved aspirants.
The legal fees and cost of producing certified true copies of documents can be used more productively in other electoral activities by both political parties and the Commission. We must find a solution to this situation.
Chairman of the Inter-Party Advisory Council, Yusuf Maman Dantale, assured maximum cooperation with INEC to ensure credibility of the 2 off-cycle governorship elections in the 2 states.
IPAC will be proactive to ensure that the Edo and Ondo state gubernatorial elections meet the expectations of Nigerians and international community. So there should be no excuse for poor performance.
Dantale also hinted that IPAC would submit proposals to the National Assembly for review of certain provisions in the Electoral Act to instill sanity in the electoral process. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
And on school feeding program, the federal government is partnering Jigawa State government to include Almajiri pupils into the homegrown school feeding program in a bid to reduce the growing out-of-school children roaming the streets in the state. Mohammed Musa Askira reports that President Tinubu's commitment was relayed by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on homegrown school feeding program at the Government House in Dutse. The report.
Dr. Ietunde Adeneji, who was at the Jigawa State Government House in Dutse, says her coming to the state was to seek robust collaboration with the Jigawa government, being one of the school feeding implementing states in the country, on how best to enhance the program for more impacts on the beneficiaries. She notes that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is committed to ensuring that no Nigerian child will be allowed to roam the streets in the name of begging for food, as Almajiri or otherwise.
The theme of this year is cities feeding the future, and this is where most local government chairmen and coalitions of other countries are coming together to see how they can also help fund some of the initiatives for school feeding in some countries. So what we are trying to do also is to see how we can get states too involved in this type of coalitions also.
Among all the 36 states in Nigeria, it's only Jigawa that complement this feeding program. When federal government is doing class 1 to 3, Jigawa also on its own added 46. That shows how much we like this program.
Oman Namadi further assures the Jigawa state government's commitment to support the program to address the challenge of the out-of-school children that is constituting a potential security threat across the north. From Dutse, Muhammad Musa Askira, NTA News.
Away from the school feeding program, the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, and the United Nations Children Fund, UNICEF, are working towards strengthening the already existing partnership between them in the area of protection of child rights in the country. Both renewed the commitments when the UNICEF Nigeria country representative, Christian Duarte, paid a courtesy visit, and management of NTA, Joseph Otsen, reports.
It is a familiar interface between top management of NTA and UNICEF representatives, where initiatives on improving children's health, education, water and hygiene to prevent diseases and other child rights are shared. UNICEF is here against the backdrop that 4 states, Kano, Sokoto, Zamfara and Kebbi, are identified polo flashpoints, while out of the 6,000 schools implementing the Safe School initiative in the country, only 40% are meeting maximum standards.
We can bring different expertises, to work with you depending on your needs and your priorities. And of course, for us, the top priority is children.
Director General, Nigerian Television Authority, represented by the Executive Director News, Ayo Adeoyi, advances capacity training and improved technology as major elements that can enhance the collaboration.
Also take advantage of our multi-channels. We have NTA Hausa, Yoruba, Igbo, so that we can penetrate the grassroots.
You made a critical input in the establishment of the educational television of the Nigerian Television Authority. We would be honored if we could, have such partnerships also with the TV College.
Injecting into NTA TV College curriculum programs on child rights and utilizing the wide coverage of NTA to views here can drive sensitization and enlightenment to remote areas. In Abuja, Joseph Otsen, NTA News.
And to road safety matters, the Corps Marshal of Federal Road Safety Corps, Dauda Alibiu, has mandated sector commanders nationwide to strengthen enforcement and advocacy campaigns and cautioning trailers against conveying human beings on top of goods. A statement by the Assistant Corps Marshal, Jonas Agu, notes that the Corps Marshal is reacting to the avoidable road traffic crash that occurred on Abuja-Kaduna Expressway on 18th March 2024, involving a DAF trailer. As a result of excessive speed, overloading and fatigue, where 10 persons died and others injured. The Corps Marshal also directed commanding officers to commence with immediate effect oriented patrol operations and organize adequate mobile court operations along critical corridors. He directed the FRS operatives to follow up on the injured victims in the hospitals to ensure they receive necessary medical attention. Time now to join Adiola at the Center of Excellence for stories making rounds from that zone. Good evening, Adiola. Take it up from here.
Thank you, Olajide. For Nigeria to make meaningful and compact progress in political, economic and social affairs, there is need for a people-oriented constitution with coordinated inputs from all sections of the country. This sums up deliberations at a national constitutional dialogue organized by the Patriots, a group of eminent Nigerians in honor of foremost constitutional lawyer, late Professor Ben Wabueze. The lingering political challenges, economic logjam, demographic and geographical issues that Nigeria as a nation has been battling with were on the front burner as eminent Nigerians under the auspices of the Patriots converged on Lagos to profile solutions. speakers at the colloquium highlighted the process of making Nigeria great again through a constitution that will guarantee equitable distribution of the nation's wealth, human rights expressions, true and fiscal federalism.
Either we accept the 2014 National Conference as acceptable platform or relatively inexpensive directly elected constituent assembly.
We need to decentralize, give the states more authority, and have our zones, all states as a federated unit.
There were inspiring discussions from elder statesmen on restructuring the nation constitutionally.
It's not the National Assembly that will make those amendments. And it makes a lot of logical sense. It is for the National Assembly to set up, to constitute a law, a simple law, where the people will come together and make those amendments for themselves. We'll provide our offices to collaborate with the patriots and all well-meaning Nigerians to move and promote that bill that will now establish the referendum commission for us to have and make a pathway.
Whatever this National Referendum Commission, NRC, collates together to a referendum of the Nigerian people.
Recommendations from this colloquium is expected to be presented to the Presidency and the National Assembly for further deliberation and adoption. And talking health now, to prune down the alarming figure of kidney disease, early detection and lifestyle modification are pivotal to prevent the health challenge from escalating into an epidemic. Joel Popola reports that medical experts are urging government and relevant stakeholders to step up intervention, just like it did during the COVID-19 pandemic, to curtail the increase in kidney-related diseases.
More than 850 million people worldwide have some form of kidney disease or the other. Nigeria is not left out of these scary statistics. One of the most crucial ways to achieve a decline in kidney disease is through awareness by government agencies and non-governmental organizations to forestall what experts unanimously agreed could be an epidemic if not nipped in the bud. Gathered here are medical experts and other like minds who have treated over 1,000 cases of kidney disease through dialysis. Although transplant, they say, could be an option for chronic kidney failure, but they believe nothing is as good as prevention.
The only way you can prevent is if you detect that you have it. So everyone should use the opportunity to visit a screening center, or if you go to hospital, get someone to check your blood pressure, get someone to check your blood sugar, get someone to check your urine and make sure there's no protein in the urine.
Once your kidneys fail, the chances of, it's literally a death sentence unless you can afford dialysis. And dialysis is expensive, and you can't continue dialysis indefinitely. You will need a kidney transplant. So these are some of the things that really mean that people have to pay attention to it.
Non-governmental organizations are championing the awareness, hoping Nigerians will prioritize care for the kidney.
Every year we have of this, and what we want to do now is increase it so that it's not a yearly thing again. It could be monthly, it could be quarterly. We go to institutions, places of worship to create awareness.
Periodic medical checkup is also germane for early detection of kidney disease. In Lagos, Joel Bukbola, NTA News.
We're done from Lagos for now. The network news will continue with Olajide in Abuja. After this time out, please stay.
Many thanks for being there. The governor of Gombe State, Muhammadu Inuwa, has re-emphasized on efficient financial management as key to preventing corruption and ensuring prudence in spending taxpayers' money. The governor reiterated this in a message by the State Commissioner for Finance and Economic Development at a workshop to revise financial instructions and public finance bill. Emmanuel Akila reports that the workshop is jointly facilitated by the international development partners.
Financial managers,
come together to look at ways to validate and revise Gombe State Financial Instructions and Public Finance Bill, which has been in operation for the past 2 decades. This is to bring innovations that are in tandem with current global financial practices to ensure prudence in the ways government manages the state funds.
With the passage of time and new initiatives, new ways of doing things, we felt that there was no other way than to reform and also to ensure that we have a new document that will be able to stand the test of time.
The exercise is a critical reform that requires all hands to be on deck for all stakeholders to imbibe the new system.
We have worked on it several times. I've been working for over 4 months now. So today is the final step for the financial instruction. Hopefully, at the end of the day, we are going to have a final draft that we will present to government.
What we are doing today, inshallah, we should be able to come up with a very solid document that will guide the way and manner we use public funds.
For 2 days, financial experts from the United States Agency for International Development, USAID, Nigeria State Accountability, Transparency and Effectiveness State-to-State Activity would engage the participants towards fashioning out new financial instructions for the state. In Gombe, Emmanuel Akila, NTA News.
Now let's do some business with Benny Adams. Benny.
Thank you, Olajide. And we start with global business, with the Russian Federation depositing its instrument of acceptance of the agreement on fisheries subsidies. Ambassador Nikolai Platonov presented the instrument to the Director General Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. Russia's instrument of acceptance brings the total number of WTO members that have formally accepted the agreement to 72. 38 more formal acceptances are needed for the agreement to come into effect.
Sustainability of the world ocean.
I do want to thank His Excellency for urging other members, particularly the landlocked countries, also to try to ratify so we can get this effective. We are doing well so far, but the faster we can do it, the better.
Now oil prices edged down on early Tuesday after gaining in the previous trading session, due in part to the prospect of rising supply from Russia, as well as the possibility of slower than expected downstream demand in sectors such as jet fuel. Brent crude oil futures contract slipped 16 cents to $86.73 a barrel, whereas that for the West Texas Intermediate fell 13 cents to $82.03 a barrel. The WTI April contract, which expires tomorrow, fell 16 cents to $82.56. Both benchmarks reached 4-month highs in the previous session, buoyed by lower crude exports from Saudi Arabia and Iraq, and signs of stronger demand and economic growth in China, and the U.S. regarding Russia supply concern stemming from increased exports following Ukrainian attacks on the country's oil infrastructure, which continued to affect pressure downwards. Now taking a look at the markets back home, investors lost 62.21 billion naira as the oil share index declined by 0.11%. to close at 104,533.31 basis points. The total volume of traded advanced by 6.82% to close at 307.05 million naira, valued at 7.59 billion naira, and traded in 9,548 deals. FBNH was the most traded stock by volume and value, with 37.81 million naira and 1.57 trillion naira units were also traded. That is business news. Network news continues, but after this break.
Glad to know you're still there. Nigeria's Ushakiri clocked 10.23 seconds to win the silver medal of men's 100 meters of the Africa Games ongoing in Accra, Ghana earlier this evening in a race won by Cameroon's Emmanuel Aseme with a time of 10.14 seconds. Nigeria continues to rake in medals as the championship ends this weekend. Olumide Guntola will give us other stories in Sports Update. 2024. He will be buried on Wednesday, 20th March 2024 at Usar